Hello, I'm Donald Leggett, and welcome to the latest London South East CEO interview. I'm joined today by Simon Paull. He's the MD of Castillo Copper. They're currently listed on ASX in Australia, and as of today, they have a standard listing on London's stock exchange. Welcome, Simon.
Good morning, Donald. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us from Australia, and congratulations on your London listing.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very, very exciting times for us. We've worked very hard to get to this point, and now we're raring to go.
I'm sure you have. So tell us about the dual listing. Why do Castillo Copper want to be listed on the London market as well as Australia?
Yeah, that's a good question. Look, I get asked that often enough. Look, the Australian market can be a bit insular, a bit parochial. I think the Australian market understands and appreciates domestic assets, and the strategy that Castillo's always had is to track down quality assets no matter where they are on the planet. And our acquisition last year of Z Copper in Zambia is case in point for that. That was really the catalyst to get us thinking about, well, where should we go to get further resources and funding to investigate these assets and other opportunities? And London was hand in glove. We believe the UK market is a lot more comfortable in investing in Africa and other more exotic places than the Australian market would probably tolerate.
And why now? Why is this the right time for you? Do you feel that miners are on a bit of an up, having had a bit of a doldrums few years?
Yeah, look, if you look at the fundamentals and the future for copper, I mean, everyone's talking about electric vehicles, EV this, EV that, and I keep coming back to it's not just battery technology. A lot of people get lost on that. The right technology might be hydrogen fuel cells. There is so much copper that needs to be used in a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle for the purposes of transmission. In 10 years' time, people will, it'll be, oh, you've got a combustion engine, have you? Congratulations. We probably will be using EVs in the very, very near future and a large market penetration. And also, when I say EVs, it's probably boats. It could even be planes. It doesn't necessarily have to be a vehicle. It could be long haulage trucks. It can be trains. So based on that, I really do believe that the fundamentals for copper are very, very strong going forward. Why now? I mean, to be honest, our plan for this was probably to match it up with the Z Copper acquisition of last year, early this year. And look, in the UK, there was something called Brexit occurring, which we didn't quite anticipate it would have the same impact that it did, or to be stretched out for as long as what it was. Then there was something called the general election that kicked in, and that happened towards, obviously, December time last year. And January, February time, we're starting to right. Let's get back on the LSE listing trail. And then this thing called COVID-19 turned up. So we've had to delay this, which I found personally frustrating. But we're here now. Why? And I suppose, to answer your question, why now? It's really to support what we're doing in Zambia and also to assist us to identify other potential opportunities around the world.
Great. Okay. So talk us through your main prospective assets. You say you've got something in Zambia. I know you've got a couple of assets in Australia. Talk me through what you describe as the three pillars of the strategy.
The three-pillar strategy.
The three pillars.
The three pillars. The first pillar we've got is Cangai Copper Mine. It's for those that know the geography of the area. It's in north-eastern New South Wales towards the Queensland border. Cangai Copper Mine was an operating copper mine until the early 1900s. It has recorded some of Australia's highest ever copper readings that have been found. We are very, very interested. We do have an inferred resource there, and we're looking to develop that further. Our second pillar, the one which is getting all the attention at the moment, is Mount Oxide. And again, for those people who know the geography of the area, Mount Oxide resides about 200 clicks south of the Gulf of Carpentaria. So it's in that north central area of Queensland, Queensland, Australia. And we've got some drill-ready targets that we are, in the immediate future, we will be drilling. And then we've got the Z Copper acquisitions that we completed earlier this year, 5 leases in or adjacent to the Zambian Copper Belt, which we've started some surface exploration work, and we're looking to move fairly quickly into doing some ground EM work just to understand the geology that we have.
Okay, as part of the listing, you've just raised slightly over £1.3 million, so that gives you some cash in the bank. Which of these prospects are drill ready? Where will that early funding be focused? Where are you going to spend that money?
Yeah, Queensland, Mount Oxide. We currently have 2 identifiable targets that we're going for. There's Aria anomaly. It's a massive sulfide anomaly. It stretches for 1.5 kilometres. It's 450 metres wide by 150 metres thick. Never been drilled. It was originally identified by BHP, I think, in the early 90s. We will be drilling there in the immediate future, and when I say that, I mean within the next month or so.
Oh, fantastic!
The second target to that is the Big One deposit, which has a supergene ore reserves that are there, or deposits there. We want to go back and test what was found before, and then see and do some more drilling to actually understand the geology in and around the Big One deposit. But there's supergene ore there, so you know we're incredibly excited about where that might take us.
How long might that work program take? How many drills might you be drilling?
Okay, good questions. Look, for that part of the world, we are exposed, if you can call it that, to the rainy season. It's going to start chucking it down end of November. So we need to be in there, drill and out by the end of November. So we should have drills. Currently, I'm in final negotiations with the final 2 tenderers at the moment. We should be announcing those drill tenders, the winning tender, in the next week or so. They should be mobilising within a week after that. So they're the sort of timelines that I'm working with at the moment. So within the next month or 2, we'll be putting holes in the ground.
And you've got your environmental permits all sorted, all that stuff?
Yeah, we're waiting on one more clearance to come through, which is due for Big One to come through in about 2 weeks' time. But we have people on the ground today at Aria. We have people on the ground today at Big One. So the environmental applications have all gone through. Aria's is already in place. 12th of August is the magic date that I have in my diary that we should get the environmentals through for a Big One.
Brilliant. So what's the investment case for Castillo? What are you pitching to the European institutions and retail investors who, let's face it, will be researching you right now?
Very good, very good. Look, it is about the future for copper. For those people doing the research, they probably need to appreciate just how long it takes for the identification of a resource going through to a producing mine. Could be 5 to 7 years, and that's even if you do it quickly. Not to mention, even when there's mines at the moment that are coming towards the end of their life, with the increased demand from copper, we're going to run out of copper pretty soon, and we're going to have to start fast-tracking some mines pretty quickly. And if I look at the South American experience, they're large volume, low-grade mines. I mean, we're looking at, and when I say low-grade, 0.6, I think, maybe 0.3 in some instances. Everything we're looking at starts with a 1 or a 2. So they're going to be fairly high-grade when it comes to copper. Fantastic.
So you think that you're going to find someone, an exit may not be too difficult?
I get asked that often enough, actually. Everything's on the table, nothing's off the table. My goal is to get the organisation to be a mid-tier copper producer. I get up every morning and that's what I focus on. If someone was to come along with a salacious deal that represented good shareholder value, I'd sign it twice.
Great. Okay. So give me a sense of the company. What your financials look like? How much cash do you have at the moment? What's the free float? And how many shares are there out there, and who's got them, and who holds the stock at the moment?
Yeah, look, we've at this point in time, not including the London money, we have about 3 million Aussie in the bank. The London money should put that to the other side of 5,000 Aussie in the bank. We have no debt. We have quite a broad register at the moment. It's I think there's 1,500 individual holdings at the moment, of which I'd guesstimate probably about 20%, maybe 25% institutional. When I look at the register for what we're looking in London, it's probably going to be a bit more retail based, but we'll see where that story takes us.
Sure, all to be discovered. And why copper? Where is the copper price right now? Where is it in the cycle? And what will it look like in the short to medium term?
Yeah, copper at the moment has been fairly stable since the COVID shock, should I say, which it suffered from like every other resource or commodity. Since that recovered, it's been fairly range bound between just under $6,500 per ton. That's a healthy number, and it is on the rise. Again, it's all about demand. It's all about electric vehicles. It's all about diminishing reserves of existing copper mines and the need to bring more production on. So if we believe that the planet needs to go green, we need to look more for electric vehicles. And as I said before, it's not just the cars; it can be the trains, it can be the boats, it can be the planes. I saw an article on that the other day. If we're going to go that way, we're going to need a lot more copper, and I mean a lot more, like double or treble the current global production, just to get us to when the starting point of these estimates, where they start taking off.
So, who might be the buyer of your copper in a few years' time? Would it be people like China?
Look, I'd probably the best way for me to answer that is anyone who's interested in electric vehicles and electric technologies in that, and when maybe it's batteries and maybe it's just the wire required for transmission. Anyone who's interested in that sort of technology or developing that technology will be interested, and I'll be keen to sell our copper to.
Okay, good answer. What kind of news flow can we expect from Castillo over the next few months? It sounds as though you're quite busy. So, what are the milestone announcements to look out for?
Look, in the immediate term, and I mean within the next week or two, I'll be announcing the successful drill tender for Mount Oxide. That'll be back to back with mobilisation. The guys hitting site will probably be a week after that. I'm very keen, and our track record is keeping our investors incredibly informed about what we're doing and how we're doing it at any point in time. Once we start putting some holes in the ground, we'll get the early heads up from the head grade as to what we're finding there and what we're not finding there. That all this will transpire before the end of November this year. Back to that, we'll also be doing some early fundamental works in Zambia, or adding to the early work that we've done, with a view to probably organising a drill program during the rainy season in Queensland, which is going to go through from November through to April of next year.
Okay, where do you hope to be in 2 years' time? My last question to you, Simon.
2 years' time.
2 years' time.
Yeah, look, it's what I've said to other people before. I want to get through for at least one of our assets, and at least one. It could be more than one. At least one of our assets we've developed into a pre-feasibility stage, and we'll be commencing feasibility for basically a producing mine. That's my goal for the next 2 years. At least one asset. If I've got two, I'll be frightfully happy.
Simon Paull, MD at Castillo, thank you so much for joining us. For more interviews like this one, please do subscribe to the London South East YouTube channel. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.